But it's nice to see everybody that used to spank my behind. So, everybody wonder where I've been, what I've been doing. I'm going to tell you a little bit. But I left high school in '68 in Crystal City, and I went to the Marine Corps, stayed 5 years. I come back, and I went to Alton, Illinois in 1974, and I've been over there ever since. I broke my foot, came home, got hooked, and I've been here 7 months. I've tried to leave, but home is home, and it's great to be home, right? But first thing we want to do is, remember, this used to be the ball court, the little ball play area, the school was right over there. The wall was right there. I used to be able to jump over the wall, but they got modern and put a fence up now, you know. So I'll jump the fence if I had to. If I mess up, bear with me because it's been a long time since I've been in front of anybody, and I am nervous. I guess because I see Coach McCullough looking at me. That Mrs. Thompson. That Mrs. McCullough, she used to always smack me on my hand when I mess up because I couldn't read too good. Well, I done went on out, you know, and I used to, you know, be good in school and also bad. But right now, we like to have a little bit of history about Douglas on this Douglas Alumni Day. And I would like to introduce to you right now, Miss Kelly Parks. Nice hand for her.
I would like to say hello and thanks to everyone who's come out today. I'm going to be reading the history of Douglas School. Douglas Cooperative High School was a dream come true for Arthur Shropshire. For 7 years, he worked to bring about a 4-year high school for the 7 counties of black students who were missing out on a high school diploma. For most of those students, the classroom closed forever after 8th grade. Douglas Cooperative High School began in September of 1939 with 65 students and a 5-teacher faculty. Mr. A.C. Shropshire was principal, mathematics and science teacher, as well as a basketball coach. Mr. Morrison Dumas taught speech, English, American history, and drama. Miss Gwendolyn Lynch was instructor of Missouri history, Negro history, and music. 2 elementary teachers were Miss Emma Jane Lee and Mr. William Willis, principal. 2 rooms of Douglas High School on South 4th Street were used for high school classes. Some classes were held at Mount Pilgrim Free Will Baptist Church, which was rented by the school. The extracurricular activities included a school newspaper, chorus, and basketball team. A government-funded lunchroom with Miss Elsie Wampler, Mrs. Blanche Matthews, and Miss Althea Gill, Miss Pauline Crockwell, and Miss Lucy Akins, along with an efficient transportation system by Paul Matthews, made the early years of school very successful. 5 years later, Mr. William Willis became principal, and general home economics began with Miss G.J. Bowler, teacher. In 1946, Mr. Joe Davis was appointed principal. 3 extra classrooms were added to Douglas, and commercial education became part of the curriculum with Miss Callie Lentz as teacher. Mr. Norman Calhoun led the Trojan basketball teams through many victories. In 1950, industrial arts was added to the curriculum. The new teacher was Mr. Adam McCullough. He became coach of athletics. The Trojans continued their extraordinary victories in record setting. The last principal was Thomas Cooper. In 1953, construction began on the Douglas Gym on the corner of Harrison Lane and South Mill. It was used about a year by Douglas High. In 1955, the last class walked out of the doors of Douglas. Integration had beckoned. After Douglas was demolished, a park was developed with a federal grant. The 1-acre park was named after Dr. Arthur Shropshire, the founder of the Douglas Cooperative High School. Douglas Cooperative High School had a span of 15 years. It served as a bridge of education for the many black youth that needed it. The Douglas Alumni Association is proud to foster and preserve the heritage of the Douglas Cooperative High School, lest we forget.
Yes, I would like to also say that Miss Kelly is the first recipient of the Douglas Alumni Association Scholarship. Yeah. Yeah. You didn't think I knew that, did you? Yeah, I know it. Well, I hope I'm looking good. You know, I ain't the ugliest guy in town. I ain't the best looking either. But when you hear them talk about people look good, they'll mention my name. I would like to introduce the next person, which is a classmate of mine, good friend, lovely lady. She's going to have a song for you called You'll Never Grow Old, Mrs. Diane Burdett. Miss Burnell, how about a big hand for her, right? All right, I'm gonna grow old. Ain't no never to me. Well, I was gonna say something real nice about this next person I'm gonna introduce, but I'm not gonna say nothing nice about him because he's my second cousin, so I could say something bad about him, but I said to myself. But we want to pay tribute to the senior citizens because, you know, they're the ones that keep the youth and the mamas and the daddies together. So I would like to get away from the microphone and hand it over to Mr. Thomas Wales for tribute to the senior citizens of the black community.
Thank you. This is something that I think that we should try and do more often because of all the things that I've seen go on. I've never seen anything go on, especially for them. And you know, they're the pioneers. You know, if it wouldn't be for them, we wouldn't be here doing what we're doing now. But there's something I got to say because when we first come up with this idea, one of the senior citizens in the group that we had on the list is gone since we made up the list, and it's only been about 3 weeks. And excuse me for shaking a little bit because it just bothers me just a little, you know. But my grandpa is sitting right here, Mr. Josh Barnes. He raised me from a little puppy and on up till now, and he's still doing it. And Miss Mamie Lewis, who I'm sure is listening, I'm going to talk a little bit louder because I know she can hear me. She's the oldest woman in the black community. Matter of fact, the oldest person. She's 97 years old. Miss Mamie was born in 1891. That's a long ago. Her real name is Mamie Lena Lewis. Miss Mamie Lena Lewis. And we talked to her the other day. She said she didn't think she'd be able to make it out. But we have an award for her. Her grandson is here, Donnie. I seen him here just a minute ago. Where's he at? Okay. We have a couple of awards because, like I say, we should try and do this more often for them, especially. And I'm happy to know that when we come up with the idea, just so happened that my grandpa happened to be the oldest man. And that makes me feel good, too. So, I don't know if he wants to say anything. You want to say anything, Grant? Okay. He's told me enough. He don't have to say nothing else. But my grandpa was born in 1900, April 23rd, 1900. He was born in Monroe, Arkansas. He worked for the highway department all over Missouri. And he's worked for the sand mines for a number of years, and he finally retired from PPG. And I know y'all see him around town, he's still doing his thing. He's been everywhere. He's up here saying he's been Alabama, Kentucky, all over, you know. So that's why I think it's very important that we pay tribute to the older people. And hopefully, Florida, I hear him over here saying Florida. You got any more, Grant? Iowa, Utah, up in Utah. Pretty near all over the United States. But he don't want to talk. I don't know if he wants to talk. I'm just glad that he's up here. You know, that every day I wake up, I give thanks to God. My grandma and grandpa, they're still right here with me, and I love them. You know, and at this time I'd like to present Miss Mamie's first to Donald. It's a trophy right here. It has "You Never Grow Old" on it. It has Miss Mamie Lewis. I hope you can hear me. We love you. That's what it says at the bottom. This is his son, Donald. Grandson, rather.
Great-grandson. So Donald was her grandson.
I know she's sitting up in her bedroom window listening. I know you can see this, too. I'm proud to accept this for her. I know she's really proud to have it.
Are you steady as you roll?
Like thank you involved. And she's really proud to accept this for her. Thank you.
Okay, next we got one for the old dude. The old dude. All right, Grandpa, here you go, dude. Says, You never grow old, and I know you won't. You haven't yet. Josh Barnes, we love you. He says he ain't gonna never get old. Yeah, he said you're gonna always beat it out. He said thank you. He said y'all gonna be beating it out later. He gonna be over the yard beating it out with you. He wants y'all to beat it out. Okay, at this time, I would like to pay tribute to Mr. Arthur Cortez Shropshire. Mr. Arthur Cortez Shropshire, the first son of Willa and Amos Shropshire, was born in Honeywell, Missouri, February 2nd, 1909. Most of his education was acquired in Missouri schools. His elementary schooling was in Paris. His high school matriculation was at Douglas High School of Hannibal, and Lincoln University was the site of his undergraduate college experience. His master's and doctoral degrees were obtained at the University of Nebraska, Lincoln, Nebraska. Dr. Shropshire's scholarly pursuits won him recognition and membership in Phi Delta Kappa National Biological Honor Society. In 1977, he received the Distinguished Service Award from his alma mater, Lincoln University. Many Missouri and Oklahoma communities benefited from his dedication and service. He served as principal in the Missouri schools of DeSoto and Festus. At St. Joseph, he served as both principal of the high school and supervisor of Negro education. For 12 years, he served as director of the Division of Education, Langston University, Langston, Oklahoma. His last major assignment was as superintendent of schools, Kinloch School District of St. Louis County. When Arthur Shropshire was principal of Langston Elementary School in DeSoto, there was no four-year high school facility for the black youth of a vast seven-county rural area. He envisioned such a program and worked for its fruition. In 1939, his dream culminated in the opening of the Festus Cooperative High School, making it possible for many black students in these seven counties to participate for the first time in a full four-year high school education program. Arthur possessed an ongoing drive to improve the status of not only black students, but also black teachers of Missouri. During his tenure as president of Missouri State Education Association of Negro Teachers, he led the fight to equalize the salaries of black teachers and those of whites, and to equalize the opportunity of blacks in education. Arthur Shropshire braved an extended period of illness. He attended services at his church, St. Luke AME Church, until he was physically impossible for him to do so anymore. He moved from this life at 11:57 p.m., February 16, 1988. Left to cherish fond memories of him or his wife, Grace Stewart Shropshire, one daughter, Jacqueline Shropshire Sims, one son, Arthur Jr., one granddaughter, Sharice Sims, and a lot of loyal relatives and friends. One other man we'd like to pay tribute to is Mr. Morrison Dumas. I know a lot of you don't know him. I know I don't. I didn't even know Mr. Shropshire until they dedicated the park to him, and I found out who he was. Mr. Morrison Dumas was one of the pioneer teachers of Douglas Cooperative High School. He passed away this past year also. In memory of Dr. A.C. Shropshire, founder of Douglas Cooperative High School, and Mr. Morrison Dumas, pioneer teacher of Douglas, we'd like to have a moment of silence. As I look out, I can see some of the Douglas High School alumni. I can see those memories coming back to them, these people. May they rest in peace. At this time, I'd like to turn the program back over to the MC, John Clay.
Oh yeah, we're having our own VP fair right here. The VP stands for very proud, and we are proud to be a black community. I'd like to acknowledge my stepmother, Ms. Willa Bingham. She was the first black to graduate from a white school in this area. Let's give her a good hand. Oh, she's trying to hide. Now I'm going to try to read her. Our next guest, she attended Douglas Cooperative High School, graduating in 1941 with scholarship from East Central Association to Lincoln University and a Lincoln University Curator Scholarship. After 2 years, she received her teacher's certificate and was recommended for a teaching position in St. Genevieve by her former teacher, Rachel Atkins Casey. She taught in a one-room school in St. Genevieve until Mr. William F. Willis, principal of Douglas Cooperative High School, offered her a teaching position in Festus. In 1944, an association with Festus schools that would span almost 4 decades, she began teaching at Douglas Cooperative High School, and when the school closed in 1959, she taught 5th grade at Festus Elementary School. She taught 4th grade until her retirement in 1984. She once stated, "My husband Cecil and son Mark and I reside in Crystal City, but the years of my life in Festus will always be etched in my book of memories." Ladies and gentlemen, Mrs. Bernice Thompson.
Now I feel like crying. As chairman of the scholarship committee, I'm proud to announce that this is our 4th scholarship, A.C. Shropshire Scholarship, awarded by the Douglas Alumni Association. Our recipient today is the very first from DeSoto. He is the son of Mrs. Iris Blank and the late Mr. Kurt Blanks. I'm pleased to present this award to Mr. Eric Julian Blanks. Yeah!
Must be getting short. I don't know how to operate this thing. Scotty, where you at, man? My goodness. Hey, we doing pretty good, aren't we? Right. Got it moving right along. Better than Oprah Winfrey. Right. I heard that. Our next presentator, Mark Thompson, the son of Cecil and Bernice Thompson, is alumni of Crystal City High School and Lincoln University of Missouri. He is a member of the singer of gospel group and choir director at Sacred Heart Choir. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Mark Thompson. Yeah.
Thank you and good afternoon. It is my pleasure on behalf of the Douglas Alumni Association to present various awards to people, friends, whatever, who have special significance to Douglas and the community. It is my pleasure to do this. And it is also my pleasure to read a plaque that was presented earlier today as this being Douglas Alumni Day. This was presented by our mayor, Mayor Joe Groves. The proclamation reads as follows. Whereas the Douglas Cooperative High School began its first year in September of 1939 a significant step toward a solution of providing a high school education for the blacks in small cities, and whereas the leadership in this effort was provided by Mr. A.C. Shropshire, who spent 7 years on the project and became the first principal, and whereas in September of 1959, the Douglas School was closed, but the Douglas heritage will always remain in the hearts of all who attended, and whereas a Douglas alumni was formed in 1985 with members from all over the United States to help preserve the heritage of Douglas. Now, therefore, be it resolved that I, Joseph E. Gross Jr., Mayor of the City of Festus, Missouri, do hereby proclaim Saturday, July 2nd, 1988, as Douglas Alumni Day in the City of Festus, Missouri, and urge all citizens to join me in expressing our appreciation for the service the Douglas alumni has provided our community. The first awards that I'm going to present are going to be honorary awards. The first awards go to a husband and wife who came to Festus in 1950. He received his BS from Central States University at Wilberforce and his MA at Indiana University in Bloomington. He taught at Douglas in 1950, and he was a jack of all trades, industrial arts, shop, phys ed, and the assistant basketball coach. Currently, he teaches industrial arts. She received her BS at Bennett College and her MA at Boston University. She taught business education in Douglas in 1952 and one class at the White High School before integration. They are both members of Warren AME Church, and our community is richer for having them part of our community. Our first awards, presented by Earl Cook, the president of the Alumni Association, go to Adam and Willa McCullough.
Thank you very much.
Couple words, Coach.
I promise you I'll keep it short. Every day that I pass this park, I always think of Douglas School.
And the way you
I haven't got accustomed to think about Shropshire Park yet. Right now, it's still Douglas School, and I'm respectful of Brother Shropshire for starting this whole complex here. I've enjoyed the work at Douglas, and I can't ever forget the boys and the girls that I've come in contact with here at Douglas. And even though I'm at Festus High School, I still have Douglas High School just a little bit higher. And I hope to continue to do that. Thank you very much.
Our next honorary award goes to a member of the Douglas class. He may not want me to say this, but the member of the Douglas class of 1944. He taught 6th, 7th, and 8th grades at Douglas. And he's a member of the Webster Groves United Methodist Church, a Black Administrators Club, and a member of the St. Louis Administrators Association, Local 44. Currently, he is the principal of Cole School, St. Louis, Missouri. Our next honorary award goes to Mr. Leonard Evans.
I'd just like to ask for all of those that I have touched when I was at Festus, the Douglas School, would you just stand? All of those that I touched. Thank you very much. I really appreciate
that. Our next award is for the oldest men and the oldest women who went to Douglas. Our guide for this, and some some of you may not have signed as you came in or whatever. Our guide for this is the registration book that you should have signed as you entered. So if you fudged about your age or lied about going to Douglas or whatever, I went by that book as my guide. The guide I have here, according to the book, it shows the oldest woman is Georgia Charleston, and the oldest man is Raymond Bingham. I will not tell what their ages are. If you'll come up here, we'll give you time.
Stop it, Bean, stop it.
The next award I have is for the person who came the farthest to be with us this afternoon. Supposedly, the farthest person came 1,400 miles, and it's Lester Bell Riney.
Yeah, Bill!